Hello. Where are we? Here. Here we go. And here we are. Hello. Hello, hello. I always feel like the fucking phone guy. Hello, hello. You must be the new guy. I could never play those games. I suck at games like that. And also the jump scares aren't fun. I love the lore though. Big fan of the lore. I was very excited whenever Matt Pat first did his first game theory on FNAF back in 2014. That was 11 years ago. Good stuff. I think I've been following his channel since 2013, maybe late 2012. The first video of his I ever watched, the first game theory I ever watched was his original Portal video, where he talks about the companion cube. The companion cube is people. Oh man, I still rewatch those old episodes. They're so fun. So much fun. I mean, I fucking rewatch the entirety of the Matt Pat era like every year. Oh, it's good stuff. Anyway, last time we left off from Alara Unbroken. Let's see. Jund was being invaded by Grixis, I think. Let's see. No, Esper, excuse me. Esper. Esper has begun to invade Jund. Because the, all of Alara has merged. And shit's getting real. And in this most recent chapter, we are on Grixis, and we return to Nicole Bolas, or Nicole Balls, which is still funny to me. But either way, we're gonna turn down the music just a smidge more, and no, where is it? There it is. Right here. Nicole Balls. Anyway. Report, said Bolas. The Esper obelisk has been freed and activated, said Sarkhan. As the planes have converged, the forces of Esper have begun to invade Bant. A force of about 2,000 massed on the shores of Jess this morning. Casualties? Mostly on Bant part. They were woefully underprepared for the mage assault. Bant's warriors are brave and strong, but they seem naive. Bolas bared rows of teeth. Naive, you say? They never advanced. They seemed to wait for the army from Esper to crash into them. Some of the soldiers hadn't even strapped on their armor fully. It was like they never expected to have to fight at all. Bolas rolled his tongue across his teeth. What magic did you see? Esper laid into them with storms, counter-magic, control of the mind, and some spells of death, and their army was almost entirely composed of creatures that were summoned from Esper. Only a few mages led the entire offensive. I saw some healing on Bant's side and what looked like a protective enchantment, on some of the soldiers, but that was all. The Bant army barely seemed to cast anything at all. Bolas reflected on that. Mixed. He said, what about the obelisks? As the shards go to war, the obelisks have been channeling mana as you desired, said Sarkhan. But the flow is weak. It has low T and weak stream. God damn it. Dan's been using that bit repeatedly on Game Grumps, and it's been making me giggle ever since. Low T and weak stream. Anyway, but the flow is weak at this point. There's not enough of a conflict yet, and the Bant obelisk, the one from the ruined castle, it seems to be resisting. It's possible that the spell didn't activate it. that the spell didn't activate it properly, or that some force is preventing it from channeling Bant's mana. Bolas uttered a string of garbled syllables that Sarkon presumed formed a curse in some extraplanar language. If the Bant obelisk isn't channeling mana, then the reaction cannot start. No shit. Do you want me to return to Bant? Draw out some mages? Encourage more magic? No, I need you elsewhere. The mages of Bant should awaken now that their knights are dying. The battles on their Esper front will scare them, and they'll get over their principles and begin to throw better magics. Besides, you wouldn't be much of a negotiator. You don't look much like a Bant human. Sarkon shrugged. I passed well enough on Esper. I am sure you stuck out horribly, but no, I have a different mission for you. I think I did pretty well. You sucked. Anyway. You're going into the jungle. Naya? But the plains have merged now. I can't planeswalk from one part of Alara to another any longer, said Sarkon. You'll not be planeswalking. Come with me down to the Necropolis dungeon, said Bolas. I have a surprise for you. It's a horse. Oh, I like that. Then we are on to the next chapter, and we are returning to Rafik of the many. Try the wine. Food good. There we are. Knight General Rafik watched the scene in slow motion. His friend Mubin clutched his head as the Esper's mage's spell came down on him. Then the mighty rocks blinked, took up his mace and his mount's reins, and hastened into the fray. The surprise of the betrayal carried him deep into the Bant army, and he felled several soldiers before Rafik had understood what had happened. Mind magic was present on Bant, but not like that. He had heard of spells that would allow analysis of the mind, which was sometimes used to verify travelers' claims of caste, or to read the wishes of blessed caste rulers who were ill or incapacitated. But that was something beyond mind sight. That was some kind of magic of coercion. The metal-infused creature seemed not only capable of interpreting the soul, but rewriting it. The dishonor was shocking. Mubin! 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 I never really understood how to read someone calling out someone's name 3 times in a row. Mubin! Anyway. He was hoarse before he realized he was screaming at the Rock's Knight, preoccupied as he was with the desperate maneuvers of Liatao and Ryder that it took to cross through the sea of combatants to reach him. He shifted his weight to and fro, yanking and kicking to guide the steed deftly through the fray, trying not to trample the injured or the friendly. The enemy mage had chosen her target cleverly. Mubin was one of the most dangerous soldiers on the battlefield. In all of Bant, in truth. By the time Rafik had reached Mubin, he had already made the decision. He would have to wound the rocks hard and bring him down. He tried to circle around the Mubin's front side to land a proper blow, but Mubin kept circling his steed to present only the unarmored back. A dishonorable target. Oh my god. Rafik, now's not the time for honor. Jesus. Where are we? It was only after Mubin walloped a young soldier squarely in the helmet, felling her as one might a doll, that Rafik realized he'd have to violate his code as a sigiled caste and as a knight. He'd have to attack the unarmored gap in the rocks' back, like a child or a common bandit. It was just like the arena, when Arasil the Blessed had purposely changed the rules to test his willingness to break them himself, except things were beyond a mere swayed judge. It was an entire army, an entire world with no conception of the rules of honor at all. Almost as if those rules of honor never mattered to begin with. Rafik swept up to Mubin and angled himself to hit the junction between the flanges of metal on the rock's back. He saw his opening and swung with all his might. Rafik's sword came down between Mubin's shoulder, shoulder blades and struck deep, tearing through several inches of skin and fat, severing a muscle group or two and scalping vertebrae and cartilage. It must have cut something else too, something deeper, because Mubin dropped his mace and fell limp, roughly off his steed into the mud. And we're back on Grixis. Goddamn. Hopping around all over the place. Tokyo City like a big playground. I need to take a drink. No energy drinks. Like I said, I'm working tomorrow. So I've just got 2 regular-sized canned cheer wines and a strawberries and creme Dr. Pepper. I already drank the first cheer wine, and now I'm cracking the. I love the way it smells. Cracking the Dr. Pepper. All right. You've done well, my pet, said Bolas. I'm glad you're pleased, said Sarkhan, following Bolas down an enormous cavern under the necropolis. Sconces made from hollowed-out human skulls lined the tunnel. Light flickered through the eye sockets. Yes, the Grixis legions have advanced deeper than expected. We've captured Vectis on one front and Bloodhall on the other, creating ostentatious firefights in every battle. The other planes have engaged in all-out war on multiple fronts. In this, your reconnaissance and infiltration have proved most useful. As a result, I have a surprise for you. It's death! I'm kidding, I don't actually know. Sarkhan's heart stopped for a moment. He thought of the hundreds of skull sconces he'd seen and recalled a mountaintop littered with the brain-dead goblins. What is it? It should be obvious, said Bolas, his grin a mockery of magnanimity. I've given the gift you've always wanted. Come. He's like, oh! Bolas gestured to an undead guard who pulled open gigantic doors into the next chamber. Bolas strolled through them, looking surprisingly natural on 2 legs. I feel like his legs are like so stumpy that he's just like womp 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 womp. As silly as it is. With his wings folded and his tail balancing the weight of his torso and long neck. Oh, that's how he's doing it. I was wondering about his wings, but they're folded. The elder dragon looked almost humanoid. Inhumanoid, the terror that lies within. I never actually played with those toys, but apparently, well, I think it was both a toy line and a show. It was an obscure one from the 80s that Dan remembered. Anyway, they emerged in a dry, natural cavern. Standing inside were 5 dragons, their heads held up oddly, as if they were posing for the judges of some sort of contest. It's instead of a dog show, it's a dragon show. They just, like, grab the groin for no reason. Pop a treat in its mouth, slap the face, gently pat the face. Atta boy. Where are we? They were Jund dragons, their scales scarred and blackened in places from the wear and tear of draconic battles. But something was wrong about them. Their eyes were inert, unresponsive. They breathed in a held position and did nothing else. They were magnificent, but despite himself, Sarkhan felt his stomach clench. What did you do to them? Aren't they beautiful? I had them prepared and polished just for you. They're yours now, Sarkhan. Today you're getting a lesson in dragon control and summoning. Bolas licked his teeth. Strange, isn't it? Do you think Sarah ever taught her disciples to bind an angel? What? I doubt it. That was a reference to old magic. That's a reference to Sarah. Sera. I forget why she did it, but she made her own alternate dimension full of peace and tranquility called Sarah's Realm. Either that, she was either originally on Dominaria, made her own realm called Sarah's Realm, or was originally in Sarah's Realm, and then what's his name? I'm blanking on his fucking one of the first protagonists of Magic the Gathering ever. Urza. And then Urza, while being chased down by the fucking... I'm blanking on all these terms. Jeez. Oh... Phyrexians. The original Phyrexians. Urza, while being chased through the multiverse by a bunch of original Phyrexians, happened upon Sarah's realm, and then the fucking Phyrexians came in and fucking ruined it. But yeah, I don't know if she was if it was originally her own realm or if it was originally on Dominar and then she went and made her own realm. Either way, I doubt it. The principle would be the same anyway. It's all about the mind, you see. It's the key to everything. A dragon's mind is all cloaked in fire, a nasty place to try to maneuver. You don't get anywhere trying to reason with one, and you can't hope to best it in some sort of contest of wills. You'll just be burned. Sometimes literally, of course. So, you extinguish that fire, and their minds are surprisingly empty vessels. Fill them with whatever you want. I've chosen to fill them with devotion to me. And you. That fucking additional "and you" is like a fucking red flag. Oh, and me? You got control first, huh? Sarkon's hands clenched into fists. One of his knuckles popped. Ouch. He didn't know whether to be thrilled or nauseous, standing before the awe-inspiring specimens of dragonkind, whose minds were shackled by the magic of Bolas. The thought of the dragons at his beck and call made him want to laugh long, loud, and cruel into the face of the sun. But the thought of their fiery souls hollowed out by Bolas's cunning made him consider simply putting them out of their misery. "So," said Bolas, "what do you think?" He's like a shitty businessman in like a big tuxedo. What do you think? Doing like the fucking elbow bump. Go ahead, try it out. Alrighty, the largest of the enslaved dragons was a huge male, its scales as ruddy as molten rock. Sarkon realized that he'd seen it before. "Karthus," he said. "What's that?" said Bolas. It's Karthus, a dragon I've met before on Jund. A mighty Hellkite, a tyrant even among dragons. Well, now he's your mighty Hellkite." He's like a shitty businessman. It's so funny. "What, now he's your mighty Hellkite, my good man?" Sarkon considered for a moment, then bowed his head solemnly. "Thank you, master. Enjoy destroying Naya. I'll meet you at the Maelstrom." It's like the fucking way that this interaction is written. It's like it's got the same vibes as fucking Voldemort trying to hug Draco Malfoy at the end of the Harry Potter movies. He's like, "Draco." It's just like the most awkward hug, but instead it's a talking dragon giving a guy who's a huge fan of dragons brainwashed dragons. Oh my god. Oh boy. Alright. We return to Bant, and it's Elspeth that we come back to, but also Rafika's there. So Elspeth rubbed her eyelids, and the slight movements of her head set up waves of pain and nausea rebounding between her ears. "What happened?" she asked. "You were attacked by a knight of Bant, I'm afraid." She managed to see through her damp lashes. Rafik, the knight general himself, stood over her, and behind him was a woman in cleric's robes. She was in a bed. Okay. It was dark and quiet. "The betrayal. Was it a spell?" "It seems so," said Rafik. "Some powerful corruption spell from an Esper mage. It seized the soul of my friend Mubin who attacked you. I'm very sorry." "I should go and see him," she said, and tried to get up. "No, you need to lie still," said the cleric. Oh, okay. The instant return of the headache was a good motivator. Elspeth laid back down. I don't know why the fuck the writer typed L-A-E. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. Your injury was very serious, said the cleric. The healing spells need time to take hold. Rafiq's concern was fatherly, gentle, with a note of scolding. Mubin is a powerful warrior. When he sets his mind to something, he does it. Ampersand. No, not ampersand. Ellipses. Rafiq's voice trailed off as he wrestled with some thought. Elspeth finished it for him, even when someone else is setting his mind to it. Rafiq nodded. Yes, even then. You are lucky to be alive, young knight. But I'm of no use in this bed. My world, this world needs me. It will still need you after you're better, said Rafiq. No, you don't understand. Bant is under attack by forces it can't understand. I didn't see before, but now I know. It can't win this way. We'll fall unless I... Quiet now, young knight, said Rafiq. The rest of us will take care of things on the front lines. We have legions of devoted souls fighting this war. And prison to hold the not so devoted, those who would harm Bant from within. But Bant will fall to nothing. I'll see to that personally. From within? What forces would harm Bant from within? Oh, a renegade merchant called Hazid. He was the coward responsible for the destruction of Giltspire. Mubin and I brought him to justice at the court of Valoron. The traitor Hazid, he might represent an even greater threat than the forces of Esper, Elspeth thought. I see, she said. So where is Knight Mubin now? He's... Rafiq trailed off. He smiled at her, but his eyes went somewhere far away. When he spoke after a moment, Elspeth had the impression he was speaking to the empty air in front of him. He is recuperating, just like you. He will be fine. Meanwhile, Mubin could not feel his legs. Why? What timing? Oh my god. He'll be just fine. Mubin could not feel his legs. Good job, Rafiq. You've paralyzed him. Tell me straight, healer. Will I ever walk? What the hell? Oh, there. That's weird formatting. Okay. There's like one word at the very bottom of the page that I did not see. Tell me straight, healer, he said. Will I ever walk again? You're awake, said the cleric. He closed his book, a heavy tome of prayers to Asha. And yourself. That's good. Mubin's huge form took up the entire sickbed. He could see his own legs lying there in front of him, unmoving. He didn't even look injured, he thought. No wounds, no bandages anymore. He just looked still. My legs. Will they work again? Time will tell, said the cleric. Uh-huh. But it looks bad. I'm sorry, Sir Mubin. It's not in our power to heal this kind of injury. The wound went too deep. It broke crucial parts of your spine. Yes, Rafiq had seen to that. One blow and Mubin was paralyzed from the waist down, possibly for life. His best friend in the world had done that to him, but then, he thought, didn't he force Rafiq's hand? Why did he make Rafiq do it to him? You know he had to do it to him. How many died? Mubin asked. In the battle? No, not in total. How many did I... Oh, I haven't heard whether the exact number has been reckoned, but it wasn't your fault, sir. Your mind was controlled by the enemy. Tell me, please. I have to know. How many was it? Mubin, that does not help. The cleric wouldn't meet his eyes. That was a bad sign. It was a lot, wasn't it? Perhaps. What? Perhaps with time your legs might heal. Miracles may happen with time and prayer. The angels grant blessings to the faithful. Get out. What the fuck, Mubin? Get out. Sir, no, I get it. We're down to hoping for miracles already. I understand. It's fine. You've done your proper penance by staying with the invalid murderer. I've woken up. You can go tell Rafik. No, actually, don't tell him. Tell him to stay away. I don't want to see. Oh my god, this feels like some boo-boo baby petty ass shit. I don't know. That might just be me. Wait, I can't. I don't know. I don't know. I've never been in this situation, but like, you know, the situation he was in was fully out of his control in a situation that they were already unprepared for. And Rafik had no choice. He felt like Mubin would have probably taken out the entire army if Rafik didn't do anything, and yet he's sitting here. Mubin is sitting here blaming himself and Rafik for knowledge that they had no way of knowing about. Like, my brother in Asha. Anyway, sir, it's all right. You may go. The cleric nodded, closed his book of prayers, and got up to leave. Great, he thought. That's how the Rocks was treating a sighted cast cleric who was just there to help him. Wait, said Mubin. He slumped down on a stack of pillows. Do something for me. Yes? Would you leave me that book of prayers? I'm a man of God now. Anyway, I added that last part. We are back to Grixis with Bolas and Sarkhan Vol. So this time we're gonna go back to. This time we're gonna do Sarkhan's POV. Sarkhan, he Engi. Sarkhan's always been very much a anti-hero who's never been like explicitly evil or explicitly good. He just kind of does his own thing. At one point he had dragons for arms. But he's also a guy that can shapeshift into a dragon for a little bit. So, like, you know, him turning his arms into dragons just, to me, speaks of him able to control his dragon shapeshifting abilities, which, that's cool. I dig it. Excuse me. You summoned me, master, said the demon dragon. Oh, no, that's Malfagor. Excuse me, hold up. Yeah, okay, never mind. That's Malfagor that he's talking to, not Sarkhan. There he is. There he is. I will never get over the way the janitor delivers that fucking line in that episode. There he is. You summoned me, master, said the demon dragon Malfagor. It's the maelstrom, said Bolas. It's forming so slowly. The worlds have collided. War has broken out across every border. We're harvesting more life essence than Grixis has known. Not since Alara fractured has there been this kind of chaos across these worlds. The maelstrom will be born in time. I don't have time, said the Elder Dragon Planeswalker. All these infinite worlds, all these millennia, and I have hitched my hopes to the energies of this one world, you understand? I'm counting my breaths. Another goes by, and I'll never get them back. And I'm held back at every turn by the failings of Leonin and humans. We need to speed things along. Yes, master. I want you to travel to Bant. Malfagor's eyes narrowed. Go to the site of the obelisk there and awaken it. I, personally? With the? No, master, wasn't that your agent's task? He failed to appear at our last rendezvous. An entire walk to Bant wasted. My minions among the Skyward Eye report that he's been captured, so he's useless to me now. So you want me to conduct the ritual in his place by marching on Bant? Yes. The place from which you just returned. A place filled with angels and paladins. I believe I was clear enough. Master, that would be an enormous undertaking. The journey alone would take. Then you'd better get started, hadn't you? Unless you'd prefer to feel my claws squeezing the pulp from your consciousness. Unless you'd prefer to wither and die an irrevocable death, nibbled by leviathans under the Kedrect Sea. Unless you'd prefer that I grant Grixis to the Lich Lord Cedrus, or perhaps the soothsayer Caladessa. He's being so fucking snarky. Honestly, I like this version of Bolas more. He's much sassier. I like it. I like this. I like sassy Bolas. I'm going, said Malfagor. Hurry, please, said Bolas. And anything you can destroy in Esper on your way there, I'll leave that up to you. I can absolutely see Bolas being voiced by the guy who voices the Transformers Prime Megatron. I don't remember what his name is, but he would absolutely make a great Bolas. Alright, let's... sorry, I bumped the mic. Alrighty. Let's see. We return to Bant. Old Malfagor here has gone over to Bant as well, but right now Rafik and Mubin. Do I have Mubin in here? I don't actually remember. I do not. Oh well. But yeah, it's Mubin and Rafik. Mubin, said Rafik quietly, stepping into the recuperation room. They had the first 4 letters of recuperate and then a dash, and then they dropped the line. And so I was like, what? But it's the recuperation room. The old Rox didn't look up. His bulk was turned away from the doorway. Rafik couldn't tell if he was awake or not. Mubin, old boy, are you up? Go away, was the grunted response. What did one say? Well, what did one say in such a situation? They said you were awake. I told them I wanted you to stay away. I don't want to see you, is that clear? Well, you're being seen anyway, said Rafik. You think they would refuse an order from me, or that I'm going to obey one from you? I just wanted to know how you were doing, so how is it? Are you feeling better? No answer. Never mind, said Rafik hastily. That's a stupid question. Listen, Mubin, I'm going to find a way to make this right. I know they said it couldn't be healed, but there has to be magic somewhere that'll make you right again, and I'm going to find it. Don't bother. Mubin, I know what I did was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. I should have slain your steed or tackled you, or... Mubin reached over his arm, grabbed a bedpost, and pulled himself onto his back. It was excruciating, watching him. The powerful Rhino Man, a many-sigiled knight of the Order of the Reliquary, was reduced to pulling himself around on a hostile bed. There was a book of prayers in his other hand. His eyes were red and bloodshot. Rafik, no. What you did was right. Don't spend any more time bothering with it. I was a monster. I have to live with that. But it was just... And don't tell me it was the enchantment. I know that, but I remember how it felt, Rafik. I remember the crunch of my mace against their skulls. I remember the coldness in my veins. I remember the thrill of it. It may have been magic that awakened those parts of me, but they were already there. No. They were already there, Rafik. Rafik felt like hitting something. He exhaled, calming himself. The sages want to know more, Rafik said, about the mind control you suffered. They want to know as much as they can so they can avoid it in the future. Rafik, listen, I've been doing some reading. There are some similarities. No, you listen. We're out here fighting the horrors from Esper every day now. We need your experiences so we can learn to fight against their mages and defend our land. All of Bant is at stake. But this is important, said Mubin. I think these old passages, these ancient prayers mention things that are actually coming to pass and give instructions for what to do when that's enough. Enough of these choir boy distractions. What a fucking dick. At attention, on your feet, soldiers. What a fucking douche. Mubin's eyes went wide. Oh, holy Asha. I'm sorry, Rafik, it's alright. I'm so sorry. Look, I have to go. Please tell the clerics all you can remember. It'll help the war effort. It's good to see you. God, Rafik's a fucking moron. Rafik was out of the door before he could see Mubin's expression. He held the door shut with his back. He wondered whether friendship was something a sword could sever. We are on Esper now. And we're still with Rafik. Rafik's contingent huddled. What? I feel like they didn't use this word right. This is the sentence in its entirety. Rafik's contingent huddled between strange, glittering dunes in a desert of fine particles of glass. Contingent isn't a noun, though. Not that I'm aware of. Is contingent a noun? I thought something was contingent. I don't get it. I need to look this up now because this is bugging me. That was the book. Contingent. Liable but not certain to occur, possible. Dependent on other conditions, happening by or subject to chance or accident. Yeah. Absolutely. Hold on. Define contingent noun. Nope. What in the hell? Yeah, I don't know what the fuck this book was. Rafik's contingent huddled between? What? Rafik's dependent huddled, but I don't fucking get that. Whatever, I'm not sure what that means. I think they meant contingency. Rafik's contingency huddled between strange, glittering dunes in a desert of fine particles of glass. They were deep in Esper, ahead of the main invasion force, just as Rafik wanted. The plane's night sky was crisscrossed by grid lines, as if even the stars had been categorized and dissected by the world's mages, just like the Ethereum-infused bodies of the Esper denizens themselves. "If I may speak freely, Knight General, sir," said an Aven scout. "You may, scout." Kaeda, is it? Kaeda? I'm gonna go with Kaeda. Asked Rafik. "Yes, sir," said the Aven. His wings were folded military tight, ruffled only slightly by the winds of Esper. "Sir, it's not appropriate for you to accompany us on this mission. Your life is too valuable. If we're only doing a routine city capture, then with all due respect, we don't need your direction." Oh, what a bitch. "I understand you're concerned, and I'm fucking denying it. Fucking ignoring it, that's it. Scout Kada, and I agree, you are quite capable of carrying out the letter of this mission without me." "I thought you would believe so, Knight General, which means there are parts of the mission that are secret, which I fully understand and accept. But out of concern for your safety, as the second in command of this party, I believe..." The Aven trailed off. "Yes? I believe you should let us help in that part of the mission." Rafik smirked. "You should only do what's appropriate, of course," the Aven continued. "But you should know that the squad is ready to die for whatever cause requires your presence here. We are some of the best eyes in Asha's army, and there are several sigiled among our ranks, including me. We can help you, if you let us." "Thank you for your offer," said Rafik. "I feel genuinely secure because of your devotion to Bant and to my safety, sir. But I cannot divulge any reasons for my presence here. Please continue on the orders you've been given." "Yes, sir." "Dismissed." Rafik felt a heavy weight on his heart, a literal one. Gleaming over his breast was a broad sigil the face of the Archangel Asha, crossed with two swords, the sigil of patronage signifying his rank as Knight General. His assigned mission in Esper was to strike a blow against the enemy by capturing or razing Palandius, a large city of Esper. A singularly daring and perilous maneuver, his personal quest was stranger, more occult, and far more dangerous. Meanwhile, back on Bant, let's see. Mubin's there, but yeah, it's just Mubin. So let's do the Bant panorama. Double check, make sure there's no Mubin card. Let's see. Ah, here we are. Mubin. No, that's MTG Nexus. No, not Rafiq. Mubin. Really? Oh boy. Find in page. Yeah, there's no fucking reference to. He's only. He doesn't even have his own page. Crazy. Itchy. Ah. Right, come on. I wonder if he shows up in like. In other cards. Quoted or referred to in Angelic Benediction. Offering to Asha, no. Velkingard, no. Wild Leotau, nope. Damn. There is a way I could do it though. But it's not worth it. So we'll just do panorama. Bantarama. Alright. Still in his bedchamber, Mubin looked up from the courier's letter, furious. He left? How could he leave? I swear, Mubin does not know what the fuck he wants. Knight General Rafiq said he expressed his reasons in that letter, sir, said the soldier. Several small forces of Asha's army have begun actually invading parts of Esper. It's seen as the proper strategy, not only to defend Bant, but to cleanse the entire new world of the enemy's forces. Mubin wadded the letter up. Damn fool. Damn. Fucking Doc Brown. Damn fool. Sir, my cherished friend, he says. He goes on about magics in Esper and exotic metals that perfect the body. He'll be a corpse in a foreign land without me, and he's only going because of me. Me and my useless legs. He had orders to go, said the soldier. We had orders to go, said Mubin. This mission, this thought of invasion, should have been off the minute the minute I betrayed us all. This was not supposed to be a mission for one man. It won't be, said the soldier. He took a contingent of elite soldiers and knights with him. He's the Knight General, sir. He's leading the invasion of Esper. It's a glorious time for us. Dismissed. Mubin said, because there was nothing in reach to hurl at the soldier. Yes, sir, said the soldier. The door closed behind him. The world spun around Mubin. In his mind's eye, he saw the entire plain of Bant as one continent, floating on a vast sea of blackness. He saw Rafik riding ahead of a legion of valiant soldiers to the edge of the world, marching in time, taking step by excruciating step with their heads held high, their eyes not watching for the cliff's edge, but scanning for angels in the heavens above them. Falling off the edge of the world! Alright, we're back to Malfegor. Malfegor. And he's on Esper. Wow, we got like 2 one-page chapters side by side. That's really weird. The demon dragon Malfegor strode across the white sandbanks of Esper, the deformed entourage of his undead army trudging and scuttling their way around him. The sky was odd in Esper, a bright hood of gray clouds for half the time, and a clear black basin littered with glittering lights for the other half. Thankfully, it was in the darker state, and Malfegor could detect faint lines of magic crisscrossing in a grid above him, as if painted directly on the sky. The wind blew in wild gusts, but the towering clouds moved only in rigid patterns, their volumes cut and shaped by hegemonic magics like razors in clay. The mages on Esper were obsessed with control and measurement, Bolus had said, never leaving anything to chance. To Malfegor, the whole plane seemed like a delicate toy obeying a lattice of arbitrary rules. Malfegor relished the opportunity to shatter as much of it as he could as he made his way to the Bant frontier. A ghostly gray silhouette, one of his undead informants, floated up by his ear. "The cliffs of Art are dead ahead," whispered the ghost. "At this rate, we'll reach the Tower of Palandius in 4 days." "Not fast enough," Malfegor seethed. "Tell the necromancers we're doubling our pace. No rest for the wicked." "No sleep too!" Palladius! Oh, man. Silly bits for all. I'm probably going to go only an hour and a half, depending on how into this I am, because I'm reading a lot in a very short amount of time. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it today. I feel like if I went the full 2 hours, I'd finish it next time, but I don't know for sure. We'll see. Anyway, we return to Jund and Johnny, the boy, the man, the kitty cat. Oh, goodness. There we go. Let's move that mouse out of the way. There we go. That's better. Oh, Jesus. Johnny would have been standing firmly on solid ground. The rocky, pyroclastic floor of Jund had the ground not suddenly been perforated by an enormous rubble-covered sandstone step pyramid from his home world of Naya. He would have reflected on that and how physically nonsensical it was had he not been suddenly forced into the position of rolling down the steep and painful steps of that very pyramid as it erupted out of the surface of Jund. After he had managed to claw his way to a rough stop on those steps, he would have taken some time to catch his breath after his planeswalk and to sort out exactly what had happened with the worlds intermixing, had he not been suddenly surrounded by a clan of human warriors, wielding obsidian-tipped long spears and crudely constructed two-handed greatswords. "You're just what we've been looking for," said a muscular, broad-chested human man with braided hair. "Oh, it's that guy." "Sinzo, this is an excellent find," said Kresh. "Yeah, it's Kresh." And I do have an image for Kresh. He was one of the first characters that popped up. They finally meet. There he is, Kresh. "Behold, the Kresh." See, he's fucking Gungan basic. That's cool as fuck. Ooh, I think he's got a mask on in that picture. I cannot quite tell for sure. Sinzo grinned and shook her spear in the air. The other warriors hooted with glee. They knew as well as Kresh did that the white cat man was a sign meant for them. Ajani looked stunned but not injured. Are you a ghost? Oh, are you a ghost? Asked Kresh. Are you the ghost of this temple of the underworld? Oh my god. No, said the white cat, but I do come from another world. The warriors murmured and nodded to each other. Are we to hunt you then? Asked Kresh. Or do we follow you as a guide to our fates? Oh my god, Ajani. The white cat blinked. It didn't look sure, which was strange. How could it travel all the way from the underworld or whatever spirit world it had come from and not be sure? I will lead you, the cat man said. Excellent, Kresh said. Johnny's just like bullshitting this tribe of warriors. That's so funny. Where is it you will lead us, O death guide? To the highest peak of the boiling slopes, into the mouth of Varakna, deepest of the tar swamps? Well, I was hoping that maybe you could help me with that, said the cat. I'm looking for a particular dragon. Marveled Kresh. You are a powerful spirit indeed. You bring us on our greatest life hunt. Truly it is fitting. We shall meet good deaths on the hunt for the grandest species of life in the world. So you know the dragon of which I speak? A dragon called Bolas? Bolas? Said Kresh. I've heard this name. Some have claimed to see the dragon made of shadow blot out the sky. You know where he is? No, but I know a shaman who does. It's the lady betrayer. Betrayer of ladies? No, it's the shaman lady who's a betrayer. It was a lucky day, Kresh thought. He might be able to take vengeance on Raka after all. Oh yes. Let's see. The small contingent of the soldiers. Okay, we're back to Esper and to Rafiq's invasion party. Ugh, burpees. Ugh, it's the pizza burps too, but thankfully they're not the gross kind. They just kind of taste like sauce, tomato sauce and cheese. Alrighty. Why does it feel like the music got louder? Louder. There we go. I was making the book like a mouth just flapping. Wait, what the fuck? Damn it, who's been fucking with my shit? Who would... Why would you name it that? Ugh. Someone's been fucking with my shit. I think my cousin was here, like, last week to borrow a game or something. He must have fucked with my laptop. God damn it. Oh. It's a good bit. I'm gonna have to change that back. Anyway. Oh yeah. I got the music turned down. Back to Rafiq. The Aven Keda returned from his sortie. That sounds too juvenile to be a real, like, word. The Aven Keda returned from his sortie near the Esper city of Palandius, a small contingent of other soldiers and mages returning with him. Rafiq noted that he carried an object with him, a container. Perhaps they had actually succeeded. Scout Keda, report, said Knight General Rafiq. Sir, the mission went well. We located a group of Esperites who were transporting something that I believe is just what you were looking for. The Aven Scout set down the heavy metal chest and smoothed down his flight feathers. The dunes of white sand provided good natural cover, but Rafik knew that Esper's winds blew the grit directly into his Avon scout's wings. Take a look at your little present, said Kata. The scout cocked his head and pointed at his beak in a characteristically Avon way, a gesture signifying the equivalent of a smile. He kicked the heavy chest at his feet. Rafik grinned with pride. I hope you didn't spend too much. All right. Open it already. The suspense is eating me up. The chest... Oh, okay, we get an ad break in about 57 seconds. The chest was mostly one solid piece of weathered dark metal. Kato ran his talon over an ornate rune on the top, and a seam appeared around its middle. It took a while to figure out how to open the thing. It takes a little practice. The Avon pulled the top half of the chest. No, pulled the top half off the chest. Inside was an object wrapped in a healthy amount of cool blue silk cloth. Kaeda moved the cloth to reveal a chunk of brilliant red crystal about the size of Rafik's head. The crystal looked razor sharp, with an inferno of reflected light glinting in its heart. It looked like the blood of a god. Rafik's grin gave way to open-mouthed amazement. Is this the red rock? The ingredient required for making the Esper metal? Karmat, yes, we think so. There was a small transport approaching Palandius with the chest. A mage, some soldiers, some little blue-skinned things. They are sure gonna be angry when they wake up. The experiences your friend Mubin shared with us, his insights into their mind attacks were invaluable. That's good. All right. Take us to our little sleepers. I want to be there when they wake up. Kata cocked his head and pointed his beak. Yes, sir. Meanwhile, the mage Dreama, before she became the first Esperite ever to be captured by Bant, had studied the noble work her entire life. The noble work was a grand project handed down by the wise sphinxes to perfect all life on Esper by infusing it with the magical alloy known as Ethereum. Ethereum extended one's lifespan and refined one's savage impulses, and made Esper a superior, more satisfyingly a controlled world in general. Is there a Dreama card? I doubt it, but it's ad break time right now. Good evening, Vought Watchers. Devout Watchers. Okay, now I got it. I had to find my place and put the bookmark there. The bookmark I'm using is a bookmark of a store that does not exist anymore. It was a local business that was a local comic book shop that sadly shut down a year or two ago, which sucks because that's where I bought my issues of the Magic the Gathering comic. Let's see here. Excuse me. Got the burpees. But yes, we're going to check on an Esper mage lady named Dreama. Or Dreama? Drimma? Nope. Okay, she's not directly depicted. She's not directly in a card, so let's see if Dreama MTG Wiki. Nope, not Drana. Dreama. Hmm. Hmm. nothing. Can't really find it. Huh. MTGlore.com, really? That's cool, actually. What the fuck? Oh, cool. Yo. Hey, wow, they published fucking chapters for the new Tarkir Legends of Aether. Yo, I found a great repository for reading the newer fucking chapters, the newer story. Oh, this is great. Oh, I love this. Oh, that's fucking great. All right. That is getting emailed to myself. Also, welcome back, live watchers. I found a repository for all the digital newer MTG story chapters that were almost lost thanks to Wizards changing to new servers and not thinking to, I don't know, preserve some of their stuff. So a lot of the stuff is still lost or is currently attempting to be found, but there's one guy who's archiving the old website and all the shit that was lost. And then mtglore.com is a repository for every online story chapter, which is very nice. There you are. Boop. And a boop. Boop. Cool. Now, we return to Esper. Yes, Esperanto. No, not spoofy. We'll just have to do the Esper panorama. Good stuff right there. Yeah, boy. Alrighty. Hold on, I gotta fix my hair from getting fucked up out of nowhere. I got hung on my headphones. Ugh, there we go. Alright, now. Dreama was captured by Rafiq's forces. God damn, lots of distractions. Okay. The convergence of Esper with the foreign planes was certainly a shock. The scholars hadn't predicted it, and if the Sphinxes knew it would happen, they hadn't spread that fact to human and Vidalcan communities. That was no foreknowledge. What? Oh, that no foreknowledge of that violent, world-shaking event had arisen was unthinkable, and it had shaken common trust in the hegemon and all the other minds in charge. Dreama's own mind flooded with a mixture of unstifled emotions, as confused about the world as she had been in her childhood. On the other hand, the influx of exotic materials from the fronts had revitalized her life's work. Ethereum stores on Esper had all but dried up across the entire plane, and most believed that the formula for creating more of the magical metal was lost to time. However, a sect of scholars claimed to have attained knowledge of the miraculous recipe, and were conducting experiments to try to reproduce the alloy. Substances not found anywhere on Esper were flooding in as soldiers captured caches of valuables along Esper's fronts. The prospect of actually creating an ingot of new, not recycled Ethereum electrified her. That was how Dreama found herself and her entourage of prosaics? It looks like Prozac, but there's an I between the A and the C. So prosaics, and homunculi transporting a chunk of Jundian ore, the material they called Karmot, to the cliffs of Ott. That was how she found herself overcome by bandit birdmen from Bant. Weird. Wake up, sleepyhead, said a deep-voiced man in a strange accent. Dreama's eyelids cracked open. She scowled up at the faces around her. Oh yes, she thought, those were the warriors of Bant who had what the fuck? Ensorcelled? What the fuck is that word? Ensorcelled? I have never seen a word that looks like that. Looks made up. Hold on. I'm gonna put that in chat. Oh, I lost it. Where was it? There it is. Ensorcelled. Ensorcelled. What? I am Googling this right now. This is bonkers. What the fuck, dude? There it is, ensorcelled. To enchant or bewitch. Ensorcelled. I love that. Ensorcelled. Ensorcelled. That's very interesting. Also, to bewitch or enchant. I have never seen that word in my life. That's cool as fuck, dude. We love to see it. Alright, cool. Anyway. Those were the warriors of Bant who had ensorcelled her with clumsy sleep magics. It was embarrassing that they had managed to get the upper hand on her. She glanced around. Her prosaics, and homunculi were motionless on the sand. Still out cold or dead, the man who had spoken, apparently their leader, had a hawk humanoid and a small force of human soldiers with him. What do you want? She croaked at them, enunciating precisely so they would understand. What do you want? I am Rafik of the Many, Knight General of Bant, said the man. His hair was cropped close to his head, and he was encased in armor of solid metal. A burnished medallion depicting a woman's face hung over his breast. And we want the secret of Ethereum. That's rather progressive of you, Dreama said, but I'm not surprised you want to stop wearing all your metal on the outside. The man chuckled. It sounded peculiar coming from an adult. It's not for us. We just want to know how to make it, to use it for our injured back on Bant. That would be impossible. This war has cost us much in resources and manpower. There is not enough Ethereum even for our own people. The man looked at her Ethereum enhancements, the filigree whorls and matrices in her neck and upper arms. But you can make more. We have the red crystal you were transporting to prove it. Ethereum would be wasted on you. You're an unenlightened people, she said. You don't know how to control your impulses, or your subjects, or your world. You're imprecise, untuned, unbalanced. You don't know what to do with what you have, but we do. That's why you fight us, to claim our resources? Very specific resources. We take your lands to procure the materials that Esper requires to continue our noble work. Rafik looked her right in the eyes. You'll fail in this war, he said after a moment. Ours is the side of justice. Where is the... Dreama closed her eyes. The conversation was going nowhere. She was outnumbered and surrounded. Better to be patient and wait for an opening to outwit them. Justice is important in the face of prophecy, she said quietly. Our scholars have always prophesied our victory. The filigree texts have always said so. And yet so have our ancient prayers, said the man of Bant. Put her to sleep again. As Dreama lost consciousness once more, she heard the Bant creature's voices trail off. Take her away, Rafik told the soldiers, but keep her alive. We have some very specific questions for her later. Load up this crystal and take it back to Bant. Deliver our reconnaissance to Arasil, the Blessed. What will the rest of us do, sir? You're coming with me to the next horizon. There we must be the eyes of Asha, and if necessary, her sword. We're going to murder. Ooh. Whose POV is this? Because we're in the Blind Eternities, which is the space between the worlds. Let's see. Whose essence has been split 5 ways? Centuries before, for reasons of Johnny. Ah, it's a Johnny. We are returning to good old Johnny. He's in the middle of a planeswalk for some reason. Last we checked, he was talking to Kresh and his band of huntsmen. I think I'm going to stop at about an hour and 30 minutes or so. I'm liking it, but I also really want to play Final Fantasy XIV. I've been swapping between games. For the first 3.5 days of the week, I play a single-player game, and then for the other 3.5 days, I'm playing Final Fantasy XIV, just so I can get both in. Because I love me some single-player, but I also love me some 14. Anyway. The 5 worlds floating together in the chaos of the Blind Eternities were not just neighbors, but were siblings. They were all shards of a larger world, the plane of Alara, whose essence had been split 5 ways centuries before. For reasons that Johnny never knew, the shards of Alara had broken like the colors through a prism, and traveled away from one another for a long time. And the shards had slowed in their respective journeys, and begun a return trip back to each other again. It may have been due to the way the mana fractured across the 5. They couldn't live without one another. It may have been due to the efforts of some deep force that pulled their centers to one another, something like the force that pushed water downstream and stones down slopes of mountains. He's talking about gravity. It could have been meant to be It could have been meant to be part of the very act that broke them apart, that the 5 pieces wouldn't become explosive detritus, but missiles in 5 special orbits destined to smash back into one another again. Detritus. I love the way that Link from Good Mythical Moni pronounced detritus the first time he saw the word. And covered in detritus. Detritus. Oh God, I get every chance I get. I want to use the word detritus. It's so fucking funny. Anyway, Johnny didn't know what to make of destiny, nor of history. He had heard the versions of prophets and the declarations of traditionalists, all of who claimed to know how the future would be shaped. He didn't know whether they had claimed to a piece of the truth or not, but he knew that nothing could assail what he saw before his eyes. Against all the theories that said otherwise, and against all the institutions founded on assumptions contradicted by those phenomena, stood the basic facts. Where once there were 5 worlds, there was one. And we return to John after, let's see. Okay, we're back to Raka's POV. The cute lady who's also a betrayer. She's hot and she betrays. Oh, goodness. Alright, let's see. Where are you? Raka. There you are. absolute queen, even though she's a druid. Still, cute. Anyway, after Raka had introduced Sarkhan to her draconic master, she returned to her mission of spreading her master's war. She traveled the understory of Jund, seeking out their clans to spread her prophecy to. She stayed with the Rip clan, Tol Durek clan. Rip clan is one word. So, with the Rip clan, Tol Durek clan for a few nights, and told them the story of the first life hunt, and told them that the life hunt tradition was soon to enter a new phase. She fed them exactly the lines that her master told her to feed them, and their minds devoured the words like starving whelps. She moved to the Neltoth clan, and they gorged themselves on her words as well. The words had power to them, and almost music that sounded to every listener like the echoes of long bygone days of glory. Raka didn't have to embellish on the stories to make them ring clear and true. Everywhere she went, she met people unknowingly poised on the edge of conviction. Let's see. When the tremors came, of course, ripping the edges of the world and merging with the other planes, it did help. As terrifying as the changes were to Raka personally, they did serve to back up her story to powerful effect. Bolus had told her that there would be some sign of the next phase of his plan, and that she would know it when it came. She fretted a bit that she had never pressed him for more detail, but when the eternal crags trembled, broke, and fell into dust, exposing a shadowy alien world beyond it, she had to admit that, as signs went, that one was impressively unambiguous. I love the sassy writing in this book. Now it's getting sassy, before it wasn't. Days after the cracks fell, she walked among the rubble looking to discover, finally, what her master might have wrought in the places beyond the boundaries of her world. The going was hard, but she summoned elementals to push through the debris, and carved a satisfactory path into the heart of where the mountains once were. The destruction ran in a rough line, hewn to an invisible boundary as far as the eye could see, in either direction. She had reached it, where Jund ended and some other world began. When she reached the junction point, she gasped. The volcanic sediment of her native Jund gave way to flats of a gray, hard-packed substance like clay. Flecked with bits of dead matter, decomposing beings lurched and crawled across the landscape. But the stench was the first enemy to cross the border. It was Grixis, the purported home of her master. Somehow she had expected something a little more regal. Whenever Bolas visited her, his presence overwhelmed her. The sensation of power positively dripped from him, the aura of a monarch who ruled a vast empire. But the place, his home, was a corpse. What would drive him to lair there? Surely, if Bolas was capable of traveling to Jund and presumably other places, he could retreat to someplace more fitting his personal magnitude. Still, the tang of black mana that clung to the dragon was also unmistakable in Grixis. As her own elemental magic thrived in the fiery cauldron of Jund, so must his flourish there. The dragon terrified and fascinated her when he came to her world. He must be a god there, she thought. You fool. He is no god. Let's see. Alright, we're back to Sarkhan. Sarkhan these nuts. Oh, I closed out Sarkhan. There he is. He's back. Boop. There we go. Alright, we're almost done. Once we hit an hour 30, I'll stop. Or maybe at the end of this chapter. Who knows? It might take that long. Anyway. Looking over the panorama of the world of Naya, Sarkhan shook his head dismissively. Naya had never experienced an attack by a dragon. It wasn't as if massive creatures were foreign to it. The gargantuans native to Naya destroyed their share of its jungles just by walking around, garnering them reverence with almost every culture on the plane. But the footfalls of meandering gargantuans were not adequate preparation for an assault by a dragon. Jun's dragons were specially adapted to dealing with difficult game. They survived on fast-moving goblins, human warriors with swords and scale-piercing spears, and the incredibly tough and stubborn Viashino, the lizard people. I added that last part. The dragons had perfected a death plunge maneuver that allowed them to scoop hordes of fleeing humanoids in a single gulp, becoming such experts at the maneuver that they could execute it while strafing any terrain from wide volcanic flats to jagged peaks, which is why most denizens of Jund huddled in the sheltered lowlands, away from their ravaging jaws. On Naya, the foliage was thick but eminently flammable. There were no jagged chasms between mountain peaks. As Jund and Naya overlapped one another, serrated peaks from Jund sliced through Naya's understory and gushed lava into its glades. Meanwhile, huge strands of trees and vine-covered step pyramids from Naya lanced up through Jund's highlands. Any pockets of civilization that had once thrived in the intermingled areas were crushed immediately. The areas of overlap became dead zones, filled with ruins and corpses. Sarkhan had begun summoning his personal flight of dragons as soon as he mustered the mana for the spell. Maybe the dragons were a gift from a cold, calculating dragon planeswalker, but the fact remained that they were a flight of dragons under his control. If that was somehow a disgrace, Sarkhan had never enjoyed disgrace more. Where are we? The first dragon he summoned for his army was the immense male hillkite Karthus. He was almost stately in his bearing, a crown of horns encircling his head, and a single sharp spike curving downward from his chin. He thrashed about impatiently, as if he were already ready to lay waste to Naya all by himself. "I know how you feel," Sarkhan said to the beast. "We are weapons waiting to be unsheathed, you and I. I don't know Bolus's scheme, but at least he's unafraid of putting us to good use. It's been so long since I have been at war. I'm eager to test my edge in battle. Test my edging." The dragon turned its head to the sky and bellowed, punctuating the roar with a blast of fire. Sarkhan reached out into Jund and into his other mana bonds for more mana. One by one, he summoned dragon after dragon, amassing a force large enough to raise a world. And that will be all for this stream. Oh, stretchies. Whew, okay, that was fun. We're gonna go ahead and call it for the evening. That was a nice long read. I made a lot of progress, surprisingly. Let's see here. Thank you, VOD watchers, for watching, if indeed you still are, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye, like and subscribe and whatnot.